Connections,
Connections
yeah.
as in to the audience, not networking as in like your scale network. Huh.
Okay, so you are not
I meant
considering YouTube to be like that, if I'm
no,
not
of
wrong.
course I am. I'm just saying I did not say it yet.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just bring upon that point. So, over time,
Yeah.
as you continue to grow, this level of networking is needed. And that is when you actually come across, true faces of individuals that you thought were behind the camera and as well. So how does that actually how is that going to affect Prakhar Gupta as an individual?
When my audience scales,
Exactly. That's when. And you get to interact
see.
with the audience at that scale as well as you interacting with people who have such scalable audience as you are.
So I'm interacting with people with way more audience than I have,
That is true.
and I found that they acquire some sort of respect for me to entertain me more than once. Otherwise, there is no benefit that they'd have from me. I don't have any numbers. I don't have any money to give them. None of that is really happening. So there is a mutual respect I share with a lot of people who are far more who've been playing this game far better than I have been, or for far longer, or whatever XYZ ABC, right?
That's true.
And I've the let's see, most people I've found who have met actually, and I think how many people from YouTube have I really met? I think this is one person. I've only met Shwetab in real life.
He's
ठीक है?
awesome. He's
And
awesome.
Shwetab Gango. Shwetab's a kick-ass guy, man. मतलब वो पीछे भी ऐसा ही है, वो आगे भी ऐसा ही. There's no hiding.
Apart
I,
from
I
the amount of profanity he uses, he's awesome guy. He just in our conversation itself, and these are not on camera, but I have spoken to him a lot of times. So he's an awesome guy. He knows what he's doing, and he's not going to change himself for the fact that somebody else is perceiving him in a different manner. That's the
sure.
best thing that I like about him.
Sure. So apart from Shwetab, I haven't met anybody in person to make a judgment, and Shwetab's only proven me. He's only made me happier in the sense that there is an authentic person behind him. The other person I've been close to from YouTube is Varun, and the same goes for Varun. Like in and out, same person as far as I've seen, but I haven't met him. Um, but to go back, and in fact, I've had it the other way. I've known people in real life who have gotten to YouTube, my friends, and they haven't
Yes.
changed a single millimeter. So that is pretty amazing. I'm glad they're making the transition like that. Now, as far as the question about how is it going to be when I scale, here is what happens. When I'm speaking to you, I can look at you. I can create an image of you in my head, and then I can
Yes.
interact with that image as I speak. Right?
That's true.
But when I'm speaking to the camera, I have to create an imaginary person.
Yeah.
And that imaginary person is a consequence of all heuristics and biases and all that bullshit that happens in your head when you're not noticing. So, say Prakhar has 25K people on YouTube and only 20 comments appear on a video. And all those 20 comments are Prakhar's a piece of shit. Now, the rest of the 24,980 people might have liked Prakhar's stuff, but Prakhar's representative audience in his head is those people who thinks he's shit. So when he starts creating a video, he's creating a video for that person properly, depending on how the internal dynamic of his head works.
Yes.
So you have to imagine one person. And in imagining that one person, I think what very often happens is that you have to leave out a lot of others. And my organic attempt is to see if I can include everybody when I try and theorize. Right? This is this.
That's needed, kind of.
So needed maybe, but here is it. Right? So there is an instinctive desire in humans to unify all phenomena, and it's quite impossible as we find, right? So probably it's the same instinct, but I try to carry as many people along as I can, and that's why sometimes I leave my stuff very open-ended so that you put in yourself and your context. That's not on me. I don't know your context. I don't know the number of details that are playing out in your context, right? So there is sort of that. And so it might be, well, I'm not sure, well, I'm absolutely not sure. It might be that as I scale, my commandment, my instruction, my direction might become unified, so that I can imagine one person as I'm making that video. But I think the illumination of the idea, the discussion on the dynamics of that idea will be absolutely unadulterated. It'll still deliver what it has to deliver, right? And so there is that. Then apart from that, I think live streams are a whole different ballpark as far as content is concerned. It's not the same as recording videos. When you're
That's
doing
true.
live stream, and also what you have to understand is, as a content creator, I am an idea person. I do ideas. I don't do funny stuff that's relatable to everybody, or yet at least. So what that means is that with ideas, there is a aperture that needs to open and close depending on who's listening to the idea. So if I'm speaking to Varun, I can get into more detail. I can use language that's more complex, and he'll grab on. The aperture is narrower, so he can only strictly understand what I'm trying to say.
Precisely.
Vice versa, when I'm speaking to somebody on, say, an Avalon group chat, I'd be like, okay, here is the broader concept, like, so that it's easier for them to hold in their hands. So it might be that the content has to become, the aperture has to become different for me when I scale, but the live streams allow me to play a whole different game, which is the feedback is instant. People feel more connected. People are literally there with you. You interact with the people. And in that sense, I think that part of me can just sit back and relax. So like when I'm talking to you, I'm me. I don't care. I don't have to pretend like I'm talking to an imaginary person. I'm talking to a real one. End of story. है ना? तो वहां पे जो वो adulteration नहीं होनी है ना, वो नहीं होती. Because I have something to do apart, and that is why live streams probably work, because they're by default more authentic.
Okay, so I'll just add a couple of points here too. So you pointed out correctly to the fact that there is an instantaneous feedback loop, and right now in India very specifically, the mass audience of content creators right now we're looking at entertainment comedy. That's the majority of Indian YouTube content. And then there are folks like Tanmay Bhat. Tanmay Bhat actually is a very smart person who comes in, who knows the fact that this is what his audience likes, and then that's what he actually feeds them. And he doesn't have to, change even his persona. So that is where growth is, infinite. And this is a problem that I'm even seeing with the likes of Varun, that right now, because he has scaled his audience on Instagram to 100K, now he has to actually put out content that relates on a very broad level. Whereas his own personal perspective here is that he wants to go in deep. He wants to find the exact problem where that lies and wants to begin from the first principle that lies there.